Ladies and gentlemen, I think I just found SoFi's newest product offering, which actually comes in the form of a product offered by Galileo. So, this article just came out today, actually, talking about how Galileo is offering a secured credit card with dynamic funding. So, they've had secured credit for some time, but it's this dynamic funding piece that is very interesting, which actually makes their secured credit card actually viable. Because the way that it was before is not something that I would ever use. So I wouldn't want it offered amongst the SoFi crowd. This new dynamic funding has been used before from other fintechs, but it essentially goes like this. So, you know how you have your checking account, and if you had a debit card, you'd be able to spend directly through that checking account? That's the way that we sort of want secured credit to be. The way that it normally is that you have a separate collateral account where you, the user, would fund that account, and then that would sort of be your credit limit. And then every single month, you'd have to re-put in a bunch of money into that account, and then that would be your credit limit able to be spent through that, secured credit card. Now, the reason why you would want to use a secured credit card that way versus just a debit card is to build your credit score and potentially also have higher rewards. Because if it's through a credit transaction, it can also charge more to the merchant, which means the financial institution makes more money, which means they can offer higher cash back, more rewards, but ultimately building up that credit score. So that's exactly what this new dynamic funding allows to do. It makes the collateral account also be intertwined with the actual checking account or your full balance, meaning it has a seamless spending with your normal accounts. Right. So that's very exciting. SoFi does not have any form of secured credit card. However, they do have a normal credit card that they love to push on people, but it's mainly for users that have 700 plus FICO. That's the sort of audience that SoFi likes to go after. Now, for a little bit there, SoFi's actually been going after a user that is much less sort of wanted whenever it comes to the FICO score area. I can show exactly what I'm talking about here. You can see in their statistics that we see from their 10Qs that the high majority of the loans that they end up bringing in are actually from users that are not in the 700 plus. This yellow bar that just spikes way above all the other areas for different FICO areas is actually from the 740 or below section or segment of their business, which is not wanted. It's in my opinion that those users that could be potentially bringing in larger credit risk to SoFi could have been secured credit card users to begin with. So then it also aligns with their mission statement, right? We can help get their credit score right, and then potentially offer them some unsecured products that would eventually make SoFi some more money by potentially earning interest income. See, that's the thing too, right? Secured credit cards don't actually make as much money as unsecured credit cards or a normal credit card, but they are much more safe. Now, from the direction that SoFi has been going by offering more unsecured cards, these are two new ones that are actually in a sort of beta right now being offered to people. One is for the regular, SoFi high income, high FICO score user. And then the other one is more directed towards young professionals who do not have a credit history. But remember, for SoFi, these are still unsecured cards. So they're still going to make interest income, and there's still a potential to find losses on those cards, which, unfortunate for SoFi and SoFi investors, has not been one of SoFi's strong suits. So take a look at this, for example. Whenever comparing to industry competitors for credit cards, you can find, losses on credit cards anywhere between 2% to maybe 8% in terms of annual losses. SoFi bringing in a 13.8% losses on their $319 million worth of outstanding credit card balances is completely unacceptable, and that they need to find a way to answer this. Well, if you continue to give out credit to people with FICOs of 640 and under, you're never really going to find a solution to that problem. Now, if SoFi wants to continue to grow, right now they're coming on about 10 million users. They will get to that number by the end of the year. Okay. Anthony Noto's goal is to get to 20 million users. He thinks that that's just from, unaided brand awareness. Well, that's going to bring in many of the, normal average Americans that potentially have under 700 FICO score, or do not have access to credit. Remember, in that Galileo article, there's 45 million Americans that do not have access or proper access to credit cards. It might not be because they don't want them. It might be because the institutions don't want to lend out that credit to those individuals. So secured credit cards are that perfect answer. Help build the FICO, help bring in additional income to the financial institutions, and also be an educational opportunity to sort of help make all those things better, and then make a good transition to unsecured credit eventually. All right. But one of the things that I think is very interesting for SoFi on their personal loan side, right? Usually they want to give out, the personal loans to users that on average right now it's above 747 FICO. Okay. So very high credit worthy individuals can only get access to SoFi's personal loans. But then there's a large mix, about 70% of their applications. I actually think it's actually roughly coming in at 80% right now, of individuals who don't even get accepted for SoFi personal loans. Now, before we met a company called Pagaya, what would happen is that they would just say, hey, sorry, we can't accept this application. Bye bye, try again later. Well, that's unacceptable. We're leaving a lot of money on the table, right? And so what ended up happening is they met this company called Pagaya that would end up taking that loan application and then going out to an entire marketplace of B lenders and say, hey, you guys have an appetite for risk that's much higher than SoFi's. Do any of you guys want the loan servicing agreements to these loans? Then you can handle the risk, you can get the reward, but SoFi will still have that user on their platform, and they can just make the payments, and then the payments actually go to those B lenders. That was the perfect solution, right? SoFi would end up making a small bit of money for servicing the loans and for actually, getting the lead generation on that personal loan, but they wouldn't take on any of that risk. Well, there's no such player like that for credit cards. So SoFi needs some way of not being able to turn down users. I see many of the comments from you guys saying you have been turned down from a SoFi credit card. Wouldn't it be a great way to keep you as a user in the ecosystem, but not have to potentially take on the risk? I'm not saying you guys are the risk. You guys would never miss a SoFi payment, of course. But in terms of offering a secured credit card that could allow you to continue your payments, build FICO, and potentially get that better, higher reward, and SoFi would end up earning more money. I think that this is a perfect combination of, cross-selling from Galileo's own tech platform products and then putting that into SoFi Bank. There's a ton of products that Galileo offers that SoFi does not want to take on, but this one I think is a perfect opportunity. We're going to have an audience that's way too big to ignore, ones that would be ultimately amazing to have a secured credit card. And then once we actually get them a secured credit card, then you can monitor their cash flows, right? You have a checking account of sorts where you can see how their bills are coming in. You can see what they're spending on their secured credit card, and then make the judgment if you then eventually want to turn them into an unsecured credit card user. And the opposite is true too, right? Once you're denied that credit card application, then you say, hey, don't leave. We have a secured credit card until we can actually make that relationship with you to give you the normal 2% cashback credit card that SoFi users are enjoying. Right. So it's a good way of getting the both, get your money right situation, or even get your credit right for the people that are, maybe not quite at that high income, high FICO area yet, but also not churning them away from the SoFi ecosystem and keeping them on platform. It's the perfect solution. And one extra thing I want to add to this, guys, it's also completely within SoFi's capabilities to do the card issuing. They already have the bank account, they have the licenses. This integration with not even a third party. It's its own SoFi subsidiary that is now offering this through Galileo. The integration could happen within essentially a week or two if they really wanted to. So in my opinion, SoFi should go after this. Let's see if they actually do it. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. What do you guys think? Is this a product that you would end up using if you had a low FICO score? Anyway, Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video. If you could, subscribe down below. That's all I ask. Bye for now.